to do it.
Today we are in a 1985 E30 325 that has been stroked to a 327. Now we will get more into that later, but this is a race car. I'm in a harness. I can barely move, but I guess race car, and let's get into it here. First gear, parking brake down. I can barely move in this car. And let's get out of here. So we may need the windows up on this. So a lot has been done in this car. Now, probably more than I can remember, but the main thing that stuck out to me is that this was a 3.25, but he had it stroked to a 2.7. So we're making like 240 to the wheel, Ryan? 140. So we're at 140 to the wheel and like 190 to the crank.
Yeah.
So in a car that weighs 2,500 pounds and is built exactly like a race car. Now, I got this nice little race wheel on top. You said it had an E36 conversion on the steering rack, right?
95 Pacific M3.
95 Pacific M3, and we have header back system, which sounds phenomenal. This car literally, like, being in it, when I heard him come up to meet before we started shooting it, I could hear him from a mile away, and I can hear him doing his best to set off every alarm that went by in the garage, but he failed to do that. Before I even get on it or even go on any turns or anything of that sort, it's so planted. And I always reference things back to my BRZ because I feel like that's a really good all-around car to reference back to. And it feels like, the handling wise, I can feel the tires, I can feel all of them doing their own thing. And the main thing is I feel like I'm really aware in the car. Get a good view here. First gear. Always helping us out. So now this car isn't built for speed, and if that's what you think this car is, then you couldn't be any more wrong. But, and this is what Ryan was saying earlier, is he's getting ready to take this car out to autocross now that it's nearly built exactly how he wants it. It phenomenal, by the way. It's not about the speed, and that's the biggest thing that I feel like a lot of people have to get over, is that this car is meant for handling and for fun. And it sounds so good. And the shifter, it's a custom built shifter. So Ryan was saying that him and his dad, like, there's a story behind this car.
Yeah.
And they've built it together, which I envy you. I wish I did that with my dad with the car, but everything's is done by them. And so he was saying that the shifter, when I first started driving, I was like, wow, that's like really short. Like a 2-inch travel, something ridiculous like that. And he was like, yeah, he did that on accident. It wasn't supposed to be that short, which I found it funny, but I'm not knocking it. I do like it. I feel like, especially if you're a track-oriented car, which, I mean, as you can tell by because race car straps, that's what this car is all about. Oh, look, an M3. Do you ever get acknowledgments from other BMW drivers? Yeah, that's gotta be awesome. So these race seats too, I can't move, which again, I like it. I appreciate the race car-esque that you've done with the car. Now, I also commend you for running it every single day, because damn, damn. And it feels super planted. Downshift sounds so good. And the headers that he has in his car, you could see them hang underneath the car like 5 inches, 4 or 5 inches. So I'm gonna do my best here to be careful and not go over anything too crazy. And out of all the stuff he's done in the car, stock brakes. I feel like that's, a lot of times, that's what a lot of people do last, is, cause you know, it's like, brakes, I feel like everyone's always going for power and handling, and brakes are usually one of the last things people do, which I'm not knocking you for. I'm the same way with my car. I haven't done brakes at all, but every time I go for the brakes, I'm like, brakes, where are they? You've really got to slam it down there. And for a car that's, what, 20 years old, 30 years old? Man, back in the day, a car like this had been the absolute dream. And 150,000 miles on this car. And you just got it repainted.
Yeah.
So as you can tell in all those glamours, when I was taking them, looked so better than my paint. And my car's a year old. One thing that I've always disliked about BMWs, and I just noticed it on your car because I had it on my E90 back when I had it, is they have that miles per gallon gauge like in the tax, and it's like, I don't want to see how shitty of gas mileage I'm getting when I'm sticking my foot in it all the time. It's like, it's convenient, but it's like, I don't want it. I don't want to know. I'm just put like tape over it. But Ryan was telling me that he bought this car for 50 bucks. It didn't turn over, didn't run, paint was absolute dog shit, but from where it is now, oh my God, that's amazing. Brought the car back to life. And again, I need to reiterate, this car isn't about going fast. I mean, by all means, no way. But it's about putting the smile on your face and just turning, like exactly what I'm getting right now. So much fun. Drives so nice. Now this car is not on coilovers, it's on springs. And I'm actually kind of, I'm impressed. I didn't think it would, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's that, I mean, so when and you gotta keep in mind, this car is 30 years old, but it doesn't feel as rolly, I don't know if rolly, but there's not as much body movement, brakes were the brakes, as I thought there'd be. I mean, because one thing with coils is you feel even more planted than you normally would, but for this being on springs, and again, for being as old as it is, it's a no-brainer why this car is so popular. There's 60. But it's such an easy car to drive too. And again, making another comparison, when I drove the GTR, one of the things that I noticed is that it's such a well-built car that it gives you a lot of confidence. Now, as good and as amazing as that is, it's kind of scary at the same time. And that's the same thing I think with the E30s and with the car after the E36 is that another reason why they're so popular is because there's so much confidence when driving it, and it doesn't take a lot of time to get used to because the car is so short as it is and weighs, like I said, 2,500 pounds, that it's just a dream to drive and very simple. Tunnels. I want to thank Ryan so much for letting me take out his baby. Now, if you want to follow this build on Instagram, I will go ahead and I will plug it right here. So be sure to go check him out and give him some support. And Ryan, I want to thank you again so much for letting me drive your car. It was awesome. Thank you for watching, guys. And as always, peace out.
You got it?
Yeah.
Watch the sensors.
Oh, I should be on like...
That's the overpipe.
Yeah, it's going to fall on my dick.
Let it fall. Alright, make sure that there's no O2 sensors. They have XC gold, then should be good.
On video. I know. I was like, wait.
Oh, that's all of it. That's all of it. You got